Hi, I'm Mark Creager, President of the American Heart Association. And I'm in Phoenix, Arizona, where it is absolutely warm and beautiful. And we're about to start the Quality of Care and Outcomes Research meeting. And this will take place over the next several days. And I have the pleasure of being with Dr. Mikhail Kosiborod, who is the chair of the program committee for the QCOR conference. Mikhail, this is going to be an amazing meeting this year. You have a number of terrific plenary sessions, and I'd like to hear a little bit about it. The first is going to be on clinical trials.
Yes, well, thanks, Mark. I think we have an amazing program this year, and it's really focusing on some of the critical issues that we deal with in outcomes research, quality of care, and clinical research. And the clinical trial session is really going to focus on the heart of the issue, which is while we need the clinical trials to continue and answer critically important questions, how do we do it in a way that's most effective and most cost-effective? And I think we have a number of brilliant speakers lined up. Dr. Michael Lauer is going to come from the NIH and talk about some of the challenges from his perspective that the clinical trial industry is facing, and some of the innovative ways in which NIH is planning to deal with those. And we'll also have Dr. Bob Harrington and Sanjay Kaul talk about their views on this particular issue. So I think it's going to be really a great session for us.
It does sound terrific. And I love the second plenary session, at least the title, Your Money or Your Life, Are High-Cost Drugs Worth the Price?
Yes, I think it's clearly one of the highlights of the meeting. We were able to get amazing speakers for this session as well. And as you know, this is a very critical issue that we're all dealing with, where we have potential innovations in pharmaceuticals that can impact the patient's quantity and quality of life in really substantial ways, but also very expensive. And how do we deal with that as a society? It's also been a hotly debated issue in politics recently as well. So clearly the right time to have a forum like this to discuss. And just to highlight some of the speakers, Dana Goldman, who is very well known and outspoken on this particular issue, Aaron Kesselheim, and then we also have a president and CEO of Regeneron Pharmaceuticals, kind of give the innovators' perspective on this particular issue. So I think that's definitely one not to miss.
That'll be a great session. You know, importantly, you've incorporated a lot of programming for early career professionals throughout the meeting.
Yes, no, I think QCOR traditionally has been a meeting that was all about networking and mentoring for young investigators and fellows in training. And there are a number of programming options that I think are going to be great for that particular audience. One is, of course, as we have a number of years now, the Young Investigator Competitions, that's going to be followed by the Career Development Luncheon. And we have lots of our kind of senior mentors that are going to be attending there and spending time with the trainees. And the other one that I think is really important also is on Tuesday morning, we'll have a session with Bob Harrington and Sanjay Kaul to learn how to interpret clinical trials. So whether in clinical research or other kind of segments of the people that tend to attend the meeting, we all need to understand how to interpret clinical trials and apply it in clinical practice. I think that's an intense 90 minutes of figuring out how to do that from the best people, both from a trialist standpoint with Bob Harrington, as well as Sanjay from a clinician's and regulatory standpoints. That's going to be an amazing session for young investigators to attend and learn from.
No, it's so important that you have throughout the meeting programming that will engage our early career investigators. It'll really get them involved in the meeting, and certainly they're going to learn quite a bit.
Absolutely, and I think it's also a small, confined meeting where they can actually engage with mentors one-on-one very easily, which we obviously very much foster and want to continue to propagate as we go on.
What a great opportunity for networking. And then you have another plenary session on social media and precision medicine.
Yeah, I think the quantitative self session, which is going to happen on Tuesday, is yet another example of how some of the critical issues are being addressed at the meeting, and issues such as mobile health and innovations in technology, and how do we incorporate those innovations in technology, both in clinical practice and clinical and outcomes research, are becoming more and more important. The Precision Medicine Initiative is going to be covered there as well, which of course is on the minds of many of our colleagues. So again, another great example of how critical issues are going to be addressed here in the next couple of days.
Well, thank you, Mikhail. A great venue, a great meeting's about to start. I'm really looking forward to it. The programming sounds superb.